I have always loved music. It's been a part of who I am since I was born, and I've spent the last 2.5 years seriously pursuing it as a career. During that time, I dealt with significant issues regarding my self-worth and identity, and I've learned firsthand just how dangerous it can be when you let your accomplishments define you. But I've also learned some ways to combat those feelings and emotions from a little bit of an unlikely source, and so today I would like to tell you a little bit about my music and also about one of my all-time favorite games. My music has been released to many different streaming platforms, and one of the features that Spotify offers its artists is an app very accurately named Spotify for Artists. And on this app, you can see how many people are actively listening, how many people in Sweden streamed a certain song last month, or my personal favorite, the names of the playlists that my music gets added to. But there is one number that I check every single day without fail, and that is monthly listeners. And monthly listeners are the total number of unique individual listeners that I've had in the last 28 days. And you might be wondering, Harrison, what makes that number more special than how many people in Sweden have streamed a certain song last month? It's because I can see every other artist's monthly listeners. And so every day at 11 o'clock, those numbers update. I'll go to Spotify for Artists, and I'll see how I did the previous day. Then I'll head over to Spotify, go through my recently searched artists, check in on about a dozen of my friends and artists that I look up to, and just see how their music is doing. I'm an extremely competitive person. I've had a lot of screaming matches over games of Settlers of Catan throughout the years, and music is no different. I often tell my wife, I've been checking in on some of my friends. I've been checking in on some artists that I love and just seeing how their music is doing. And she'll say to me, so you've been comparing yourself to others and letting it steal your joy? And I say, yeah, pretty much. And typically the conversation ends right there. We'll come back to all that in a second. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee from Hickman, Nebraska in August of 2021. And about 8 months before that, I was in an a cappella group, and a friend in that a cappella group introduced me to the game of chess, which I do believe is the nerdiest sentence that's ever been said on a TEDx stage, which I wear like a badge of honor. I fell in love with chess very, very quickly. It is a perfect combination of strategy and imagination. And in chess, you have what's called an ELO rating. And ELO is the system used by the International Chess Federation to rank professional players. It's also used by websites like chess.com to rank amateur players who are just playing online for fun. In rapid chess, which is one of, if not the most popular formats on chess.com, I have a peak rating of 1876, which would put me, yeah, some chess fans out there, which would put me in the 99.4 percentile for players on that website. It's not important for you to know this, I just really like telling people. I've worked hard practicing puzzles and tactics, watching YouTube videos over the last couple years, and I've watched my ELO continue to get higher and higher. But eventually, I hit a plateau, and I thought to myself, not a problem, this has happened before, I'll just keep working, I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna break through this. But for whatever reason, I just couldn't. And in fact, instead of getting better, I started getting worse. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to keep my ELO as high as it could possibly be. And losing became incredibly discouraging, and winning was rarely satisfying because I felt like I already should have been playing at a much higher level. And slowly but surely, I started to suck all the joy out of something that used to bring me a lot of happiness. And unfortunately, the same thing happened to me with music. Music became my entire identity, and I compared myself to others constantly. I had roommates who were taking meetings with major labels and management. I had friends who were getting millions of streams on their music, and all the while I was becoming increasingly more embarrassed of my own because I felt like I was never going to be able to write like Noah Kahan or Ed Sheeran. I was never going to be a good enough singer to build music into a career, and I felt like I was making a fool of myself by posting videos to the internet. But then one day it finally happened. I posted an original song, a clip of an original song to TikTok, and it blew up. It got over 1 million views. And I was so happy because I could finally look at my friends and my roommates around me and I could say, see, I can do it too. I'm just as smart as you. I'm just as creative as you. I'm just as good as you are. And I was so proud of myself for 1 week. Because a week later, my roommate posted a video that got 12 million views. And suddenly I did not care about my video very much. He was getting comments from artists that I loved and looked up to. And even though I was happy for him because he is an incredible musician and an even better person, at the time, I was so jealous. And not only was I jealous, I was embarrassed because I couldn't believe that for a second I thought maybe, just maybe, I was just as good as he was. When you're stepping in to uncharted territory, it can feel easy, at least for me, to feel the need to prove myself to others in my proximity. I need them to know that I'm there for a reason. I need to convince them that I belong there. But I've learned more often than not, it's not for them, it's for me. I need to know that I'm good enough. I need to know that I belong there. And when I was in Nashville, surrounded by people I really wanted approval from, I thought to myself, man, if I could just get my monthly listeners up to 10,000 a month, then I'll have as much as that person, and they will know that I'm just as good as they are. I'm just as smart, I'm just as creative, I'm just as talented. And you know what? I did it. 10,000 came and went, I barely even noticed. Because I had another friend who had 20,000. And I thought to myself, man, if I could just get to 20,000, that person will know that I'm smart, that I'm creative, and I'm just as good as they are. And I did it again. 20,000 came and went, and then 30,000, and then 40,000. And you know what? That number in Spotify for artists was never high enough. There was always somebody out there that in my head, I knew I was never going to be as talented as, I was never going to be as smart or as creative as they were. And so I would often retreat to something I felt like I was actually good at, and I kept playing chess. And I would win some games, but again, more often than not, I started to lose more and more, and my elo kept falling. And still I kept playing. I kept watching videos, recapping tournaments, and discussing the recent drama in the chess world, which does exist. I promise that's a real thing. I still loved chess, but I hated playing. And then one day I figured it out. I figured out why I wanted to play a game that was making me so miserable at the time. It's because chess is awesome. Chess is an amazing game. The only issue was me and the pressure that I put on myself to keep a number high that didn't offer any kind of value or any kind of identity. And I discovered the more I played simply because I wanted to be a part of a beautiful game, my experience was completely different. I still wanted to play well, I still wanted to improve, but the outcome no longer dictated my mood for the entire week. And so I wasn't enjoying chess, I wasn't enjoying music. I had started enjoying chess a little bit again, and so I tried to bring this over into music. And again, I found the more I reminded myself of why I loved music in the first place, the less that number on Spotify for artists dictated my mood for the entire week. Because I never got into music because I thought others would like me. I never got into music because I thought I was incredible at it, or because I thought I was the best writer. I just loved music. I just loved creating and having a way to express myself. I also discovered that even when I didn't like playing chess, I still loved being a part of the community. And so when I was in Nashville, I started trying to invite others into collaboration more and more. And then, in turn, they would invite me into collaboration. And I found that the jealousy I felt when I isolated myself from those same artists or producers was rarely there when we were in a room together. Because we were all there for the same reason. We were all there to make music. We were all there to be passionate about something together, and that is such a privilege. And I want to be very clear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive to be better, or you shouldn't even strive to be the best, because we absolutely should. I'm saying that learning how to define your success is key, and the success of others cannot dictate your own. Because at the end of the day, at the end of all of this, your accomplishments do not define you. In the same way that my monthly listeners do not define me. This is something that I still struggle with to this day. But chess has taught me to appreciate music, not because of how well I can write lyrics or how well I can sing, but simply because music is worth creating. And in that same way, whatever it is you're passionate about is worth doing because you're passionate about it, no matter how well or how poorly you may do that thing. Chess is worth playing no matter your ELO rating. It's worth playing when you lose, and when you lose, and when you lose again, because the point of chess is not to win. The point of chess is to play, and to play with others and to experience a beautiful game together. And so I want to encourage all of you, wherever your next uncharted territory might be, that you would choose to go there and simply wake up every day and just play. I would like to play you the song that I posted to TikTok that had a little tiny viral moment. I wrote this song after asking my older brother to be the best man at my wedding. And I was just feeling a lot of different emotions at the time, and I was just looking for a way to express those feelings. I wasn't trying to write a song I thought people would love. I just wanted to create. And this is what came out of that. My friends are all about to graduate. I majored in making mistakes and wishing I was someone else who didn't always need some help. I'm sober till I'm getting drunk, 'cause I'm still scared of growing up and being who I am right now. Forever, I hope I find out real soon what I should do and who I should be. It's still out of reach, and my brother's always gonna be 6 years wiser. I keep on getting older, and the bar keeps getting higher. My exes and friends all just seem so successful. I'm not sure 6 years will be enough. And I saw Andrew walk over, and he said to Jesus, I'm not sure even you could pick up those pieces. Everyone's so impressive, and counseling's expensive, so I'm not sure 6 years will be enough to catch up. I was always just a little much, always never quite enough, so she's trading in my lesser traits for California license plates. I'll fall in love with you again, not who you are, but who you've been, 'cause now it's like you don't exist, just memories of one more thing I can't fix. I just don't know how, and if you didn't like me then, there's no way you'd love me now. And my brother's always gonna be 6 years wiser. I keep on getting older, and the bar keeps getting higher. My exes and friends all just seem so successful, so I'm not sure 6 years will be enough. And I saw Andrew walk over, and he said to Jesus, I'm not sure even you could pick up those pieces. Everyone's so impressive, and counseling's expensive, so I'm not sure 6 years will be enough to catch up. Yeah, I'll be 6 years wiser. 6 years wiser, and it still won't be enough, 'cause my brother's always gonna be 6 years wiser. I keep on getting older, and the bar keeps getting higher. My exes and friends all just seem so successful, so I'm not sure 6 years will be enough to catch up.